The story begins with Yongnam, a 30-year-old man still living at home with his parents. In college, Yongnam was a star athlete, leading his climbing team to victory and winning several gold medals. But now, life hasn't turned out as he hoped. Despite his skills, he struggles to find a job. Every interview ends in rejection, leaving him frustrated and aimless. To pass the time, Yongnam spends his days in the park practicing parkour and acrobatics, hoping it might make him seem cool. Unfortunately, most people, including his nephew, see him as a loser. At home, things aren't much better. While his parents and older sister care about him, they treat him like a child. His mom still styles his hair every morning, a clear sign of how little independence he has. One day, the family decides to celebrate Yongnam's mom's 70th birthday, and he's given the job of picking a party venue. Excited to have a chance to impress someone from his past, he suggests the Cloud Garden Hotel. His choice isn't random. His college crush and former climbing teammate, Yui Ju, works there as the vice manager. Yongnam hasn't seen her in 5 years and hopes this celebration might give him the perfect opportunity to reconnect. On the day of the party, Yongnam and his family dress up and head to the hotel. But things quickly become uncomfortable for him. Relatives swarm him, asking nosy questions about his job and love life. Embarrassed, Yongnam dodges their comments and tries to blend into the background. That's when he spots Yui Ju. Acting surprised, he greets her, and they step aside to talk. Yui Ju seems genuinely happy to see him, asking if he knew she worked there. Yongnam plays it off as a coincidence, claiming he chose the hotel because of its great reviews. When she asks about his work, he lies, saying he's the manager of a multi-million-dollar company. He hopes to impress her, but deep down he feels nervous about the charade. Their conversation is interrupted when Yui Ju's boss, Mr. Gu, calls her over. While he compliments her work, it quickly becomes clear that he has ulterior motives. He starts hitting on her, making Yui Ju uncomfortable. She can't push him away, knowing his father owns the hotel. Rejecting him could cost her job, leaving her unsure of how to handle the situation. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, a large truck pulls into a busy area. The driver steps out and quietly opens several valves, releasing a strange gas into the air. Within moments, the gas spreads, and people nearby begin collapsing. Panic takes over as the truth becomes clear. The gas is deadly, and the city is on the brink of chaos. The gas spreads quickly, and the city falls into chaos. People collapse in the streets, some dying instantly. Those trying to escape cause accidents, making things worse. The streets are filled with panic and disaster. Inside the Cloud Garden Hotel, the party is still in full swing. Guests are dancing, laughing, and having a good time, completely unaware of the danger outside. Suddenly, a loud crash shakes the room as a glass cylinder from an explosion outside flies into the building. Everyone freezes, startled. Yongnam and the others rush to see what happened. When they look outside, they see a thick cloud of gas slowly rising and moving toward the hotel. The streets below are full of terrified people running for their lives. Realizing something terrible is happening, Yui Ju quickly tells everyone to get back inside. Most people listen, but Yongnam doesn't move. He sees his sister arriving in her car. He yells at her to get out, but she's confused and doesn't realize the danger until it's too late. The gas reaches her, and she collapses. Without thinking, Yongnam holds his breath, runs into the gas, and carries her back into the hotel. His sister is alive, but in bad shape. She's coughing uncontrollably, and her skin is covered with red sores and rashes. The family panics and tries calling for help, but they're told that only helicopters are running because the gas has made the streets too dangerous. Everyone starts to panic even more. Yongnam and Yui Ju look out the window and see the entire city blanketed in toxic gas. They realize the gas is rising, and their only chance of surviving is to get to higher ground. Yongnam gathers everyone and tells them they need to reach the rooftop as fast as possible. They create a stretcher for his injured sister and begin climbing the stairs. When they finally reach the rooftop door, they're met with another problem. It's locked. The key to the door is in the reception area on the ground floor, which is already filled with the deadly gas. They can't risk going down there. Yui Ju, Manager Gu, and a few others go to a lower floor to find supplies. While searching, they find a working TV showing live news. The reporter explains that the gas's origin is still unknown, but gives advice for staying safe. Wearing a gas mask can protect you for about 15 minutes, and it's important to cover your whole body to avoid burns and blisters. With this information, the group knows they have to act fast. The gas is rising, their time is running out, and they need a plan to survive. After some time, 3 gas masks are found, but no one is willing to risk going downstairs to retrieve the key to the terrace. The situation is growing more urgent, and the tension builds. In the midst of this, Yong-nam comes up with a new plan. He realizes that the door to the terrace can be opened from the other side. Given his exceptional athletic skills and experience with climbing, he decides to take a huge risk. Without hesitation, Yong-nam throws objects at a glass panel, shattering it. He then ties a safety rope around himself and, despite his family's pleas for him to stay safe, makes a daring leap. Luckily, he manages to catch onto a ledge and climb over to the neighboring building. Yui-ju, impressed by his determination, tosses him some chalk powder and a carabiner to help him climb more smoothly. Yong-nam begins jumping from rooftop to rooftop, moving with the agility of a parkour expert. His cousin records the entire feat on his phone, live streaming it so their family can see what's happening. But when Yong-nam reaches a spot where he can't grab onto the next ledge, the rope around him holds him back. In a bold move, he unhooks the rope, deciding to climb without any safety net. If he slips now, it's over. Despite the danger, Yong-nam continues to climb with unwavering focus. He finally reaches the last stretch, where all he has to do is leap up and grab a lion head statue. At first, it looks like he might fall, but with one last surge of strength, he pulls himself up onto the roof of the cloud garden. After catching his breath for a moment, he opens the door, allowing his family to join him. Once inside, they try everything they can think of to signal a nearby helicopter, but nothing works. That's when Yui-ju has an idea. She suggests that everyone form the letter H with their bodies and use their phones to create an SOS signal. Meanwhile, the person responsible for the gas disaster is revealed to be the co-founder of a large biotechnology company. He had once been the head scientist, but after being kicked out by the other shareholders, he snapped and planned revenge on the city. He created the toxic gas as part of his twisted scheme. Now it's believed that he is dead, having fallen victim to the very gas he unleashed. Back on the rooftop, after several minutes of tapping their phones, the family's signal still doesn't attract the helicopter's attention. Yui-ju realizes that the light from their phone screens is too small to be seen from a distance. She runs down a floor and starts flashing the hotel's large advertising signs instead. This time their plan works. The helicopter spots the signal. Finally, help arrives. One by one, the family members are rescued and taken to safety, the ordeal coming to an end after a tense, harrowing fight for survival. As the rescue operation continues, it's finally time for Yong-nam and Yui-ju to board the helicopter. However, an alarm blares, indicating that they've exceeded the weight limit, meaning they must stay behind and wait for the next chopper. With the gas fast approaching, the two know they can't afford to wait. They quickly grab the 3 gas masks they found earlier and pack as much rope as they can carry. They wrap themselves in plastic bags to protect against the gas and head out, searching for a safe place. After some time, they climb onto the roof of a building, only to find that the gas has already reached there. In a panic, they rush back down to the streets and find a gym that's still safe from the gas. Inside, they throw away their damaged masks and drink some water, then prepare for their next move. The building across from them is too far to jump, so they decide to use rope. They tie some dumbbells to the rope and launch it over to the next building. Once they feel the rope is secure, Yui-ju, being lighter, decides to go first. Thanks to her experience as a climbing champion, she crosses with ease. When it's Yong-nam's turn, however, the gas is slowly creeping closer. Time is running out. With no other choice, Yong-nam uses every last bit of strength and makes it across, just as the smoke reaches the gym. Elsewhere, officials discover that water can help dissipate the poisonous gas, but they estimate it will take several days to clear it all. Meanwhile, Yong-nam's father, Jang-soo, is desperate to find his son. He spots 2 reporters using a drone and offers them a large sum of money to have the drone search the area near Cloud Garden. Meanwhile, Yong-nam and Yui-ju reach another building, where they notice a group of kids trapped in a nearby building calling for help. The doors are locked and they can't get out. The couple decides to help them first, using cutouts and even themselves to create a large arrow pointing toward the children. The plan works and a helicopter spots the children, rescuing them. Just as they think they might be safe, an explosion at a nearby gas station sends the gas back in their direction, forcing them to flee again. Yui-ju spots a large crane nearby and suggests they climb it. Though Yeongnam isn't keen on the idea, he agrees, knowing they have no other option. As they make their way, the drone Jang-soo hired finds them and follows their every move, live streaming their escape. The whole country watches in awe as Yeongnam and Yui-ju become heroes in the eyes of the public. Even Yeongnam's mother watches the broadcast, nearly having a heart attack as she sees her son risking his life. The two eventually reach a tall building, the last one before the crane. But the gap between the buildings is too wide, and with the poisonous gas approaching fast, it seems like the end. They embrace and say their goodbyes. But then a swarm of drones appears, coming to their rescue. The citizens of the city, inspired by their bravery, have decided to help. With newfound hope, Yeongnam quickly comes up with a new plan. He instructs one of the drones to hook a rope onto the building's pipe. Then he and Yui-ju tie themselves to the other end and try to swing across to the crane tower. Unfortunately, the plan fails, and they find themselves hanging in midair. The rope attached to the pipe starts to loosen, and the situation looks even worse. In a desperate move, Yui-ju grabs a plier and cuts one end of the rope, hoping to swing to the next building. But the rope comes loose, and the two fall into the thick smoke, seemingly to their deaths. Back home, Yeongnam's parents watch in horror as they see their son's apparent demise on the live stream. The rescue helicopter turns back, thinking it's too late. But then the pilot spots a small flare on the crane tower. Upon closer inspection, he sees that Yeongnam and Yui-ju are alive, clinging to the tower for dear life. In the final moments, the two are rescued, and Yeongnam is reunited with his parents. As usual, they scold him for his recklessness, but they can't hide their pride in his bravery. Meanwhile, Yui-ju is approached by manager Gu, who tries to flirt with her once again. This time, she gives him a lesson he won't forget. She punches him hard in the face. The movie ends with Yeongnam returning to Yui-ju's carabiner, but she insists that he keeps it until they meet again. Yeongnam smiles, realizing that she might be interested in him. And you, my friend, could be interested in the next movie recap. Click on the videos on the right next to continue. Drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this story. I upload every other day. Grab your popcorn, enjoy yourself, and see you soon, my friend.